Anthony Grassi here for College.town at the 2025 NACDA Convention. Happy to sit down with the Lewis University Assistant Vice President for Athletics, John Ashaolu. John, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
So as we sit here right now, you've just wrapped up your first full year at Lewis. How has the first full academic year been?
First full academic year was adventurous. It was, I would say it like that. It was just, there was a lot to learn about Lewis University, the athletic program, and the university itself. You know, just trying to create alignment with my president, my provost, and trying to figure out, you know, the things that we need as an athletic department. You know, just getting in the trenches with my coaches and trying to figure out what they need, trying to help them be better at what they do, because they're the ones that have the direct impact on the student athlete experience. So it was very important just to kind of really sit down and understand what have we been doing that's really going well. You know, what do we need to change and what do we need to add? So yeah, it's been a really good year. Very, very busy year, but a good year.
Coming from Point Park, how different was your first full year at Lewis versus your first full year at Point Park?
Yeah, it's very different. I think that you know, after almost 6 years at Point Park University, I think I became a better administrator. Being able to kind of build that program up at Point Park University. But Lewis University was a little bit of a different dynamic. It was a different place that I've never lived in the Midwest, so it's really like trying to get accustomed to living in the Midwest, find out who my allies are, and then obviously trying to apply some of the things that I had done at Point Park to Lewis University. But I would say there's just a little bit of a higher level expectations at Lewis University from the coaches that I have, the athletic programs that we have, the history of Lewis University athletics, just how successful they've been over a number of years. I tell everybody, our head coaches, we have some of the best head coaches in the country. Our head coaches are really good at what they do. They're experts in their field. So it was trying to step up my game to be able to match them and be able to, you know, really understand and really help them to attain what they need to be successful.
Yeah, not long after you hired, you did an interview. You said your goal was to go from top 15 in the Directors Cup to top 3 to 5, go from an A- to an A+.
Yes, yeah.
What does that look like thus far? Maybe what are the steps you're taking to start to get to that?
Yeah, the steps is really, again, like I said, just really helping the coaches provide them the resources that they need, right? I think that barometer moves on a year-to-year basis in terms of what they need. And again, it's just trying to look at the student-athlete experience, figure out, like, you know, how can we enrich that student-athlete experience? Because as you know, the name of the game is recruiting, right? We got to be able to recruit top-of-the-line students and athletes to Lewis University. And it's really like, you know, working with our leadership, president and provost, working with the leadership team to really help them understand and really help them shape, you know, this is what a high-level student-athlete experience looks like. To be able to then come out on the other hand and have a top 5 directors program and to be able to go from an A- to an A+. And I say A- because the program wasn't broken at all. Like, it's an unbelievable athletic program as is. And it was just trying to fine-tune some certain things there and really trying to, you know, elevate, you know, certain teams so that we can really, you know, band together and really get to that level. And I think that, you know, as of the end of the winter season, we were ranked 5th in the Directors Cup. So, you know, we're hoping that when the dust settles here in the spring season, we're in that top 10, top 15, and that will show, you know, the incremental movement that we've made throughout the year. But there's still a lot of work to be done. And I think that, you know, we're always shooting for that. Like, let's be a top 5 program, a perennial top 5 Directors Cup program, and let's continue to take what we have right now as an A- program and make it an A+ program.
As you have those conversations with your coaches, what are some of the recurring themes that they point to of as they try to enhance the student-athlete experiences? You're trying to get the best student-athletes on the Lewis University campus. What are the recurring things that keep coming up?
One of the things is facilities. We have some good facilities, but I think that as the university has grown, you know, the university now is total enrollment of all the different branches that we have is about 7,900, and our athletic program, our portfolio has grown too. Like, we just added stunt last year. We're looking right now to add women's flag football. Our lacrosse program is about 6 years old. So as we've added programs, we've outgrown the facilities, right? So I think that, you know, upgrading our facilities, whether getting a new arena or upgrading certain parts of it to renovate it, to make it better, that's one of the themes that come up in a year on a conversation basis when I'm talking to coaches, and also just money, right? Everybody, it all goes back to money. So operating budgets need to increase with time. We need to kind of find ways to add revenue, right? And we're looking at that. I think we've done a good year. We had a really good year this year. Probably the most. My development person told me a couple weeks ago we've raised the most money ever within athletics at Lewis Athletics this year. So it's continuing to do that, not being happy with that, continue to add that because, as you know, money cares a lot, right? So, the coaches need definitely are asking about that. And then personnel, right? I think that goes for almost every D2 and every major Division I. You need more human capital. So, just add in more people to our administrative teams to be able to let those coaches do what they need to do, right? And I always tell my staff this, and I got it from a good friend, Randall Richmond at Kent State University. I met with him, I think, during his first couple months at Kent State University, and he told me, he's like, John, my athletic department, a really good athletic department is coach-led, student-athlete centered, and administrator-supported. And I've said that to I borrowed that and I've said that to my staff and my administrative staff over and over, so that, we want to, as an administrative staff, we want to support those coaches so that they can focus on what they do best, right? And that means we need more people. We need another facility person. We need another person in our communications office. We just need a little bit more human capital so those coaches can just focus and do what they're supposed to do.
As you mentioned, the flag football edition, it's one of the emerging sports that I've been most interested in. We've seen it grow a lot at the NAL level. We've seen it grow at Division III. Division IIs are starting to take a look at it as well.
Yeah.
What is the process through which you are evaluating that? Because it seems to be the next big women's sport. What is the, criteria for that coming to fruition at Lewis?
Well, the first thing is just looking. Again, I told you I just moved to the Midwest. I've never lived in the Midwest before. So just looking around the landscape in Illinois and looking at the high school level to see, okay, do we have a robust league in the high? Is it an offer sport in the high school, and how robust is it? And yes, it is. Looking at the IHSA, there's a lot of high schools that have the sport, and there's a lot of really good teams there. So that's one of the main things. And then also it's facilities. I think that what Lewis does really well, and I credit our leadership team to this. We don't necessarily rely heavily on athletics for enrollment builders, so we want to do it the right way. And what we first looked for is, do we have the facilities? And we do. We actually, in my first 3 months there, we built our second turf field. So, and it has football lines, and I think my president probably knew we were going to add flag football before they hired me, but they didn't. They're like, let's not tell John we're adding a 24th sport. So, so we have the facility, we have this football field, so that's one thing that we're looking at too. And then just looking at, are there viable coaches in the area that can come in and recruit the sport and recruit the student athletes to the university. And so those are things that we're looking at. And again, just the number one thing is just looking at, do we have a recruiting field? And I think with the high school scene in Illinois and the surrounding areas, we have a really robust recruiting scene where we're going to be able to recruit some really good student athletes. Because again, with Lewis being such a really good athletic program, it's like we don't want to add a sport and not have it be successful, right? Because I think, and my coaches always say this when I meet with them, it's like, if you're a coach in this athletic department and you're not doing well, there's a huge magnifying glass on you, because my women's volleyball coach, she's been at Lewis for 17 years, and she's been to the NCAA tournament 17 times. Our women's basketball coaching position, it keeps being a revolving door because it's a successful program. And our last 4 head coaches have left from Lewis and went to Division I schools as head coaches. So it's a really successful athletic department. So we're not going to add a sport if we're not going to be successful. And 2 of the most competitive people I know on our campus is our provost and our president. Our provost is he's super competitive, so he does not want to lose. He does not want to add a program where we're going to lose. So, we're looking at all different types of things, and I think we're very close to announcing something that we're going to officially add it.
You mentioned that alignment, and the 2 most competitive people being the provost and the president.
Yeah.
How is that beneficial for you? What does that mean for you as the leader of athletics, that the people leading the university forward have the same drive and the same passion for athletics that you do?
It makes my job a lot easier, right? Because when my president and my provost are attending athletic competitions, and then I'm bringing things to them that, hey, we need to improve on this, and they're finishing my sentence saying, yeah, we need to improve this facility, or we need to renovate this before I even finish my sentence. That just makes my job a little bit easier. Now, along the same token, I know that there's a bunch of other department leaders within the university asking for things. So I know we won't get everything right when we want it, but it's also good that it's not just me telling them, hey, we need to do this. They see it, right? They see it. They're present at our athletic competitions. They have conversations with our coaches. They're super invested. They know that, hey, Lewis is right now 5th in the Learfield Cup. How can we stay there? How can we stay a top 10 Learfield Cup? And my president, we were on a donor visit a couple months ago. It was just me and him, so I had him unfiltered to myself and just kind of pick his brain. And one of the things that he told me, and I was trying to ask him, like, what's your vision? Like, what do you want for Lewis as a president? And it was great to hear him say, he's like, John, he's like, on a year-to-year basis, we have a team that's in a Sweet 16 or Elite 8, right? He's like, what I want to do is I want to get to a place where every year we have at least 1 or 2 teams in the Final Four, right? And so people start knowing that, oh, Lewis is notorious for being is going to have a Final Four team every year, and we want to be a place where people can come to, coaches can come to, and they know that they're going to be able to coach and compete at a high level. And then if they want to stay here for a long time, they can. But if they also want to use the opportunity to move on to a Division I schools, like our women's basketball coaches have done, this is a place that they can do that as well. And we have those. We have some coaches that have been at Lewis for 15 to 30 years. Then we have some that have been there for 3 to 5 years that are super successful. And they have opportunities. They all have opportunities coming their way. Like our men's soccer coach, he's been at Lewis for 34 years. Evan Pfeiffer's been at Lewis, and he was in the Final Four of the NCAA Division II tournament. He made it to the Final Four 2 years ago. So, it's a really good place. It's a place where we're constantly pushing each other. And it's great that our president and provost are so invested, and they understand where we stand in the landscape of Division II, and they want us to be there or shoot a little bit higher.
That culture of excellence that seems to be around the entire university, is that, when you joined Lewis, was that not a challenge, but how did you kind of mesh the culture that existed with the culture that you maybe sought to instill in the athletic department?
Yeah, it was just really about just doing some fact finding, because again, I'll be honest with you, when I initially started looking at the Lewis position, I did not know much about Lewis University. Like I heard about them, and they're doing really well in some of these different sports, but I did not know well about them. And it was just really trying to understand, like, okay, what is the expectation here? Like, what are our expectations? Are we aligned together in terms of, we're here and are we fine at being here, or do we want to take the program to the next level? And it was just really talking to not just the president, the provost, but the leadership team, like the VP of enrollment, our VP of advancement, and trying to see what their thoughts are, what their visions are. And as I talked to those people, and I spoke with our athletic department staff and our coaches, I quickly realized that, status quo is not a choice, right? We always want to shoot, because I think that when the athletic program is thriving, and I know it's cliche, but the athletics is the front door to the university. Right now, I didn't know we had a great aviation program until I went through the athletics front door and I saw, wow, Lewis has an aviation program. This is great. So I think everybody on campus is aligned with that, and they know that a thriving athletic program makes a great university, right? Makes it great. So it's talking to those people and then seeing, okay, this is what my vision is, and wow, this is what their vision is, and these are the things that I can take in terms of how to build that vision and align it with what's already there.
One of the big things going on campus, Lewis has announced that they are exploring a partnership, or there's beginnings of a partnership with Christian Brothers University.
Yes.
Which, as an outsider, is unique because this Christian Brothers is give or take 500 miles away from Lewis.
Yes.
So, from your seat, what are some of the interesting parts of that partnership that may impact athletics?
Yeah, it's just really, I think the partnership that we're exploring is we're looking at what is Lewis doing really well that Christian Brothers University is not doing, that we can take from Lewis University and bring over there. And then what's going really well at Christian Brothers University that we can borrow and bring over to Lewis University. Now, one of the things that's kind of stood out really quickly is we have a great aviation program. Christian Brothers University, located in Memphis, Tennessee, has the FedEx hub right there, right? So, with aviation, is there something that we can do on the aviation side where we can have it maybe housed at Christian Brothers, maybe the first couple of years, and then bring over to Lewis University, and then Christian Brothers University has a good engineering program. We don't quite necessarily have that robust engineering program at Lewis University. So maybe there's something there that we can do that makes our program at Lewis University a little bit more robust. And I think that's one of the things right there. I think that if we can get a more robust engineering program, or if there's other academic majors that we can borrow from them and make stronger at Lewis University, it helps our athletics, right? Because now when our coaches go into those, when they talk to those recruits and their parents about the offerings that we have, and it's like engineering comes up, it's like, yeah, we do have a robust engineering program. It's not like it is before. We have a great partnership with Christian Brothers University where you can come through Lewis and get a great engineering degree. So, and there's going to be some other things that are coming up. We're in the early stages right now of doing our due diligence. I think there's going to be a point in time where I go down to Christian Brothers University, where I go down to their campus and talk with their folks in the athletic department, because we also want to see what can we do as an athletic program? How can we partner with Christian Brothers University? We're both Division II institutions, but there has to be something there that we can help them and they can help us as well. So we're in the early stages of that. I think I'll get a better grasp when I go down to campus, and I'm constantly communicating with our leaders in our campus just to see where this is going. So I'm excited for it. I think our leadership, our president is very entrepreneurial. One thing that he's a person that I'm always taking notes whenever I'm around him. One thing that he told me a couple months ago, he's like, John, it's like a university is just like a stock portfolio. You got to diversify it, right? He's like, so we're not going to rely on athletics. We're not going to rely on aviation fully. We're not going to rely on our nursing program. We got to diversify our portfolio so that, if one thing struggles a little bit, we're still really, really good. I really identify with that. So, and I'm constantly trying to do that with my athletic program. Like, how can I diversify the athletic portfolio so that we're always doing well? If one team struggles one year, how can we still be top 5 in the Learfield Cup, right? So that's the thing I'm taking from him and trying to apply it to the athletic program.
As a leader within small college, how do you think this kind of partnership between institutions will continue to happen and to maybe better certain institutions? What are the maybe ramifications for athletics, you think?
Yeah, I think that, it's a weird time right now for higher education, for college athletics. As you see, there's probably a school closing down once a month, or there's probably schools cutting their athletic programs, cutting their portfolio. So it's really I think that, there's power in numbers, as they say. So I can't say what can happen for the athletic program with a partnership like this, but I see that there are a lot of positives. There could be a lot of positives in it, and I think that, it's probably going to help the viability of athletic offerings and Olympic sports and just the athletic programs in the whole. So, again, I don't have the answer for that right now. I think that, it's good that we're on the front end of this. And Lewis University is a place where we've already done that with a smaller institution in Chicago, St. Augustine University, where we've merged with them. So we've already been through this, and other universities are coming up to our leadership to ask them how they've done it. So it's good that we're on the front end of this, and we're blazing the trail on this. And I think I'm just happy to be there, to be learning as we're going along, because I think you're going to see a lot. You've seen some schools already. I think St. Ambrose University has the same type of merger. I think Gannon and Ursuline had the same type of merger. So I think you're starting to see it already, and I think there's going to definitely be more of it. And I think I'm just there. I'm happy that I'm there to learn as we go, because I think there is going to be some benefit with partnering with other institutions and being able to align and being able to kind of brainstorm with another athletic department and say, how do you do this, and this is what we do here, and just kind of get those ideas and refine them.
Excellent. Well, John, I'll get you out of here on this last question. You are a member of the board for BOSCA.
Yep.
And this year's BOSCA convention is in your backyard in Chicago.
Yes.
What has been the benefit for you as a professional being a part of that organization?
Well, I think one of the things is, and Jim Abbott, the CEO of BOSCA, he's a selfless man, and he's always talking about giving back to the profession. I think that that's the number one thing I get out of being on the board is being able to give back to the profession and being able to shape small college athletics. I think the BOSCA workshop that we have every summer, it's a way to kind of get the bright minds of small college athletics together to kind of shape where small college athletics is going. As you know, there's a lot of changes right now in college athletics altogether. So it's like, you have to have the minds, the brain trusts coming together and try to, give a voice to small college athletics. And that's what I see with being on the board is giving a voice to small college athletics, having a say in where small college athletic goes. So yeah, it's been great serving on the board. It's been great working with Jim, learning from a great former athletic director like Jim. So I'm excited for it. I'm really excited that it's in my backyard this year because I'm not staying in a hotel. I can commute from home every day to the workshop. So I'm happy about that as well.
Excellent. John, well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Appreciate it. Thanks.